I worked night security at a self-storage facility for 8 months. It was supposed to be easy money. Just drive around the property every hour, check that the gates are locked, and make sure nobody's breaking into units. The place was called Pinewood Storage, out on Route 7. 200 units spread across 5 buildings. During the day, it was busy. People moving, loading trucks, arguing with the office staff about late fees. But at night, after 9 p.m., when the gates locked, it was completely silent. My shift started at 10 p.m. and ended at 6 a.m. For the first 3 months, nothing unusual happened. I'd do my rounds, sit in my car between patrols, watch movies on my phone. The most exciting thing that happened was finding a raccoon in the dumpster. Then I got assigned to Building C. Building C was the oldest section of the facility. It had been there since the 1970s, back when the whole property was just a small local business. The units in C were smaller than the newer buildings, and most of them had been rented by the same people for decades. Long-term storage, the kind where people put things and forget about them. The first night I patrolled Building C was in late October. I remember because there was an early cold snap and my breath fogged in the air as I walked down the corridor with my flashlight. The hallway was narrow, with units on both sides, orange metal doors, most of them coated in dust. As I walked, I noticed that one unit, C-47, had its padlock hanging open. Not broken, just unlocked. That was against policy. If a lock is open, I'm supposed to secure it and file a report so the office can contact the renter in the morning. I walked over to check it. The door to C-47 was slightly ajar, maybe an inch. I could see darkness inside. I knocked on the metal door. "Security? Anyone in there?" No response, just the hum of the security lights overhead. I pulled the door open wider and shined my flashlight inside. The unit was maybe 8 feet by 10 feet. Completely empty. No boxes, no furniture, nothing. Just bare concrete floor and walls. Except for one thing. In the back corner there was a chair, an old wooden chair facing the door, like someone had been sitting there watching the entrance. I felt a chill that had nothing to do with the October air. Who rents a storage unit just to put a single chair in it? And why would it be facing the door? I stepped inside to get a closer look. That's when I noticed something on the seat of the chair. A piece of paper. I picked it up. Written in neat handwriting, it said, "You're late. I've been waiting since 3 a.m. I looked at my watch. It was 2:47 a.m. I got out of that unit fast, locked it, and filed my report. The next day, the office manager told me that Unit C-47 hadn't been rented in 6 years. It had been empty since 2017. No one had paid for it. No one had accessed it. But the lock had definitely been open, and that chair had definitely been there. The office manager seemed annoyed by my report, like I was making extra work for her. She said they'd look into it and told me to just keep doing my rounds. So I did. For the next 2 weeks, everything was normal. I avoided Building C when I could, but when I had to patrol it, Unit C-47 was always locked. No problems. Then, on November 14th, I got a call at 3:33 a.m. It came through on the facility's main line, which rang to my cell phone during night shifts. I answered. "Pinewood Storage. This is security." Static. Then a voice, distant and hollow, like it was coming from far away. "C-47. Check C-47. Who is this?" More static. Then, "I'm still waiting." The line went dead. I sat in my car, staring at my phone. My hands were shaking. I didn't want to go to Building C. Every instinct told me to stay in my car, wait until 6 a.m., and let the day shift deal with it. But I also knew that if something was actually wrong, if someone had broken in and I didn't check, I could lose my job. I drove to Building C. The motion sensor lights flickered on as I approached. The building looked the same as always. Quiet. Still. I walked down the corridor, my flashlight cutting through the darkness. Unit C-47. The padlock was open, hanging loose. Again. The door was closed this time, but not latched. I could push it open with one finger. I didn't want to go inside. I really didn't want to go inside. But I thought about my rent, my bills, and the fact that security jobs weren't easy to find. I pushed the door open. The chair was still there. Same position, facing the door. But this time, someone was sitting in it. I couldn't see their face. The figure was wearing dark clothes, hood up, sitting completely still. Just sitting there in the darkness, in an empty storage unit, at 3:30 in the morning. "Security," I said, my voice barely steady. "You're not supposed to be here." The figure didn't move, didn't respond. I stepped closer, my flashlight beam shaking. "I need you to leave. Now." Still nothing. I was about 3 feet away when I noticed something. The person wasn't breathing. Their chest wasn't moving. They were perfectly, unnaturally still. I reached out. I don't know why, maybe some stupid sense of duty, and touched their shoulder. The figure collapsed. Not like a person falling, like empty clothes dropping to the floor. The hoodie crumpled, the pants folded. There was nothing inside them. Just clothes, arranged on a chair, made to look like a person sitting there. I stumbled backward, my heart pounding. Then I saw it. Another piece of paper on the floor where the person had been. I picked it up with shaking hands. Same handwriting as before. "Wrong unit. I'm in C-74. I ran. I didn't lock the door. I didn't file a report. I got in my car and I left. I called in sick for the next 3 days. When I finally came back, the office manager pulled me aside. She looked tired, stressed. "Did you go into Unit C-74? She asked. "No. Why?" She handed me a form, an incident report, filed by the day shift guard who had worked after my last shift. He had found Unit C-74 open. Inside, there was a chair, facing the door, and on the chair, a piece of paper that said, "He didn't come. Will you?" The day shift guard quit. So did I. 2 weeks later, I heard Pinewood Storage hired a new night security guard. He lasted 4 days. They still haven't figured out who keeps getting into Building C or who keeps leaving the notes. The office installed new cameras, new locks, even hired someone to patrol with a guard dog. But every few weeks, someone finds Unit C-47 open, or C-74, or sometimes C-23. Always with a chair, always facing the door, always with a note. The last one I heard about said, "Still waiting. 3 a.m. Don't be late." I don't know what happens if someone actually shows up at 3 a.m. and sits in that chair, and I never want to find out.